For me, it's been just so fun to kind of be this storyteller of North Alabama, where I've talked to Downtown Rescue Mission, and I've talked to Wellstone, National Children's Advocacy Center, Thrive, First Stop, on and on, with all interrelated in a way. And yet this is a new one where it's like, oh, just providing beds.
Right.
Which is, and in this interview as well, he was kind of talking about, you hear about core competence if you ever start, study business. And the same thing with the nonprofit. They have to be, and let's get your commentary on this, where you have to be careful where, look, you do beds. That's what you do. And it could be very easy to, we could do nightstands or we could do this. And then the next thing you know, you kind of lose the identity of why you started. And, but also, and then that can just be very dangerous and detrimental for different reasons. But it all just kind of comes back to, okay, what is our primary purpose? We are going to provide beds to children. Right. And
exactly.
And I think that's part of that's important when you have the corporate side and the training that goes on and the new chapters that come online. And my understanding is kind of going back to that inflated number of chapters. So since the Mike Rowe show, there was a lot of new chapters. Right. And one of the lessons learned that he talked about was they no longer will accept just one person that wants to start a chapter.
Exactly.
There has to be that core team that you're a part of, more than 2 or 3, so that it's not just it's just in one person's mind, or it's going to succeed or fail just based on their own personal investment. Right. No, you have to have that core thing in place in order for it to last.
Well, and that's one of the reasons I think people get burned out working with nonprofits, because there's never enough money.
Right.
There's never enough time. There's never enough volunteers, right? Because everybody wants to solve all the problems of the world, and you can't take it all on. So that's what makes SHP so unique and really successful ultimately, is and actually that was an older clip of Luke, because since that time, the motto is "No kid in our town sleeps on the floor," but the mission has been updated to "We are striving to end child bedlessness." So that's the mission, that we're going to put an end to child bedlessness. Yeah. So it's gotten bigger, right? And I think that's what they really succeeded in doing, is they found that niche, they've perfected it. They're always finding ways to streamline their process to really just make it a better experience for the volunteers, because when they first started building, they were putting these beds together and then staining them. Now, the staining process, let me tell you this is interesting. So we have the headboards that are put together, and then we have the side rails. Those pieces all get stained. And the way that we make stain, and we make it, we're not painting stain on. We make a stain that is vinegar and steel wool. We've made it on our back porch. You put it in those 5-gallon buckets from Lowe's. You have so many stainless steel, clumps in each bucket of vinegar, and you stir it up for a few days. And if there's good sun, it melts that steel wool, and it stinks because it's vinegar.
Really?
But what it does is it protects from bed bugs, and it gives the wood a light patina finish. So you can get some good color in it if you add in some coffee grounds, and just gives it a nice finish. But we have these little dip tanks that were built specifically for these. So you dip the headboard straight in and you pick it back up. And then there's long skinny ones to dip those side rails in and pick them back out. And then you just kind of line them up and let them dry. So again, they've learned that you don't paint a full bed and have it set up in a warehouse. You do it smarter, right? So just everything that they've done has really furthered that mission and made it successful, because they're organized, they're very efficient with the way they do things. And I mean, most of our builds, they're done in 2 hours flat.
Yeah.
Because everybody comes out, we build 30 or 40 beds, we try for as many as we can, and done.
Yeah.
Cleanup is pretty simple. We've got our warehouse tricked out. Now, even with all the dust that's created from the sanding machines, they're hooked up to this vacuum system that there's tubes that all the dust goes right into these buckets. It's not in the air. It's clean. It's so much less cleanup. I mean, efficiency is really the key.